We are, I think we're running, and so welcome everybody, and for everybody that's tuning in the cyber world, welcome as well. We have a studio audience here. Thanks, honestly, thank you so much for coming. I love this. Is such a great thing. I started this whole thing about 11 years ago with this. First time I played was in Eganville at the Rio was called Rio, and that was 11 years ago, and somehow I managed to get more and more involved, and I just love where I'm going now with recording with friends and people, like, and now I'm going to develop some videos you'll see, and it's just a great thing to be involved in music, and it's such good for the soul and everything too, right? But so we're gonna showcase this album called Those Days, and I'm gonna start off with the first song, which is the title track. It's called Those Days, and what's interesting about this song, two things. One of them is sometimes songwriting takes a lot of effort to write a song. Sometimes it can take years, and this song took 3.5 hours because I was stuck on an airplane flying from Costa Rica, and the entertainment system wasn't working at all. So I'm staring at a seat back, but I had with me my recording kit, my songwriting kit, which is a digital recorder, armed with all my concept songs, and I had a notebook and pens and paper. So I had put some headphones on and scrolled through the songs till I found a pattern that I liked, and I wrote this song called Those Days, and really pleased with how it turned out. What this song is about how it kind of has a history connotation. It's about how urban development has obliterated all the traces of the original settlements and that sort of thing. And so, and it really started when I was sitting in a restaurant in Ottawa in the Market District, and I looked out. It was a cold, wet November day, those horrible days in November. And there's this poor little maple tree, little sapling twitching away in the breeze, growing out of the concrete sidewalk, and I thought, oh, such a sad thing, like 200 years earlier, there was a noble forest there. There was a meeting place for Indigenous people, and then there was a farming community there, and then it just grew into Ottawa, and all the original traces have been bulldozed and that sort of thing. But so I wrote this song with that in mind, that how it's important that we remember our past and that sort of thing, and the way to do that is to spend time at your museums and that sort of thing. And so this is called Those Days, the title track of the album. Concrete and steel was a soul-breaking deal. Straight lines and cold signs, blank minds of urban lands. Oh, that's today. Shivering sidewalk trees, square shadows with a nameless dry breeze. Packed sands from cut lands have drawn plans for your demands. That's now the way. The dirt roads and farmlands of places where we would stand are now old history. Fairgrounds and dance halls where folks just so tall are now beyond reach. We have to remember those days in our dream. Ditched brown drainage streams, night lights, dark seldom seen. The overpass freeway, the traffic never gives away to the sense of tranquility. This pace, it never lets down. It's a race on cracked asphalt ground. Hustle and bustle, smog, blurry bustle is what it's come to be. The dirt roads and farmlands of places where we would stand are now old history. The fairgrounds and dance halls where folks just so tall are now beyond reach. We have to remember those days. We have to remember those ways. We have to remember those days in our dream of the once early days of neighborly blistered hand ways, where families would gather and help out no matter it was just the way. But progress slowly became with factories of industrial age and bulldozed farmlands and grid pattern log plans of genericized androgynous drage. The dirt roads and farmlands of places where we would stand are now old history. The fairgrounds and dance halls where folks stood just so tall are now beyond reach. We have to remember those days. We have to remember those ways. We have to remember those days and our dreams. Thanks very much. Okay, so does it sound okay? Okay, right on. I do have a bit of push coming out of this guy here, but I hope it's not too much. Just a bit of sound coming out of that. But now this I'm actually gonna do track 2 of the album. Now I'm not gonna go in sequence for the whole album, but turns out that this next song to me is my favorite song of the whole album, and it features Alistair MacDonald here playing a beautiful accordion part, and it has Rich Allen playing a beautiful mandolin part too, and you should hear it. Well, and it's just fabulous. And Bradley, I was so privileged to be able to record with my son Bradley, also playing a really, really great whistle. So that was a big highlight for me, is to be able to record with your own family involved, sort of thing. So this song is called Talk to Me, and it's a song I wrote about. Again, it's on the peripheral of a history song, in that what I like when I write songs about history, it's always inspired from visiting these sites in the forest, right? These old lumber camps, and there's a lot of them around here. Like basically, their lumber camps were disposable. They built them for 3 or 4 years, and they just walk away from them. They collapse into the ground, and they leave all their stuff they couldn't reuse. So all the garbage is there. So it's interesting to explore the sites and look at the old bottles and the old cans and that sort of thing, and figure out where the lay of the land was. And the one thing I've noticed about all these sites is often there's great big tall trees next to them overlooking the sites. And I suspect the trees were left there to shade the horses, because we're talking about the 1800s, when there were no automobiles or trucks. It was all just horses and men. And so I wrote the song thinking that I wish these trees could somehow talk, because they've been there for hundreds of years, and the things they've seen, and a lot of these places we see in the bush, there's really no story behind them. We don't know anything about them, and so there's really no record of what went on. So this song is called Talk to Me, and it's my wish that somehow these trees could talk and tell us what they see. I'm inclined to think of those years of distant days. Countless times have come and gone, from birch bark canoes to vessels more of new. Now these old walking shoes, those pines stand together, a sight for me. All seeing, all knowing, but some will fall. Now I stand and wait for your words of centuries late. I wish that you could tell me all. And if only you could tell the tale, standing over watching time prevails. I wish that I could hear the things that you would say, but here I am in your shade. Here I am in your shade. At Camp 4 there stands those trees of ancient land, above an old stone pile. A mystery remains, perhaps of river drive days, of this place where men stopped for a while. And if only you could tell the tale, standing over watching time prevails. I wish that I could hear the things that you would say, but here I am in your shade. Here I am in your shade. At marker 23, an old depot farm there be, once a busy stopping place. All there is today are the ruins of decay, and those tall pines that lived through the day. And if only you could tell the tale, standing over watching time prevails. Wish that I could hear the things that you would say, but here I am in your shade. Here I am in your shade. Here I am in your shade. Thanks very much. One thing, the neat thing about this album is there were two of us that were producing it. Brian Hebert is an award-winning fiddle player from Pembroke area, and he produced it. But I kind of took command of about half the songs. So I ended up. He suggested I should claim a production credit, so I did. And you'll hear why when you listen to this album, because it's neat because there's a really broad array of different types of songs, and there's definitely two production styles in there, and so what I love about certain music is I love diversity in music, and I get really bored if I listen to a CD and all the songs kind of sound similar, but you won't have that with this album, and this next song is kind of testimony to that. And it's a song, it's kind of a blues. I don't normally play blues, but this is kind of a bluesy song, and it's called I Appreciate. And what the song's about is, it's about, over my 11 years of working on this folk music, I spent about a year in there where I was dealing with cancer, and out of the outcome of that is everything's great, thankfully, and but that was kind of a kick in the pants, when you have a health scare like that, and so it really did make me appreciate everything, and every day is a great day, and even the rainy, cold days all have something to offer, sort of thing. So I wrote this song about that in mind, and it sort of plays off the fact that it's sometimes not easy to remember things, and maybe your back hurts, or all that, your vision's going, your hearing's going, everything's going, but you're still going, and in the end, it's funny, and everything you say may be held against you in the sense that the final lines in here, if Chuck Merridew is watching, your quote, there's a quote of yours at the very end, and So a phrase he had for me was what I used in the lyrics. It's like, perfect, that's the perfect thing I'm going to use for the lyrics. So sometimes people say things to me and they end up filling a gap in a song. So this is called I Appreciate, and it's and the way it starts is you'll hear I had a harmony singer from Ottawa. Her name is Jenna Steele, and she recorded on my first album, The River. And I was really glad that she was able to join in this album, because between now and then she started a family, so she hasn't generally been available until just recently. So she starts off singing the intro. You'll hear it's a great start with her doing a lead vocal part at the very start, and her song also features a really great piano part by Peter Brown, and then Brian Ebert is playing really great fiddle. So it's a cool song. It's called I Appreciate. I got my rights and I got my wrongs. My thoughts sometimes don't stay long. Came to me and it somehow stayed. I seen the light and I seen the dark. I seen Elvis in the park, or so I thought. My eyes are kinda bad. It's just another day. The skies are sometimes gray, but it is a day which I most appreciate. When I tied my shoes, I slipped my back. Seems I'm headed down a one-way track, but I got a seat right next to you. I seen it good and I seen it bad, but in the end I'm really glad the time keeps ticking on. It's just another day. The skies are sometimes gray, but it is a day which I most appreciate. It's been some time, so I take a chance to ask a question of romance. Come here and lay with me. When I think back to the times I had, it leaves me feeling kinda glad. The time just keeps ticking on. It's just another day. The skies are sometimes gray, but it is a day which I most appreciate, which I most appreciate, which I most appreciate. Thanks very much. the album also has some really sweet songs, which I'm going to do two of right now. One of them, this one song, and this is a Brian Ebert produced song. And when you hear the fiddle parts and the piano parts with Peter Brown, Peter Brown, he some of you might know him. He's a piano player, most recently with the Stone Fence Theatre, part of the pit band for that, and he's just a tremendous, really, really talented musician. He's from Almont, I believe, and if you're watching, Peter, I love your piano playing. This song is called "Ain't That Sweet," and everybody know the term pura vida. It's a Costa Rican term for just enjoy yourself, enjoy life, you know. And that's what this song's about. It's a collection. The song's about a collection of really great things, or pleasant things, or pleasing things. Like when I used to work in the bush doing forestry surveying and then also mining surveying. And after a while, I learned to smell springs in the forest because of the smell of the ferns that grow in the springs. And you could smell the sweet ferns, and be walking along on a hot day, and you could smell the ferns, and you're looking around, and sure enough, you'd find a spring, and we stop there and we drink from the spring. So that's part of what this song's about, is those little moments like that where you find these really great things, and so. Trying to see if there's anything else I want to say. No, but so this is called "Ain't That Sweet." Sitting happy, feeling good, 'cause everything's behind me as it really should. Skipping stones, feel the breeze, and the sun is warm and kindly with the rustle of the leaves. You and me, feet in the stream, and the smell of sweet ferns growing from the spring. Clouds are passing overhead, and the songbirds are calling, the music in my head. I say, you say, ain't that sweet? I say, it's okay, let's just sleep. Sunday, Monday, sing to me. I think it's next Friday that we both have to leave. Quiet moments with clarity. Look to the warmness, let's see what we can see. You and me, a silent smile we share as the drama unfolds. It's not that I don't care. Move along down the line with a peaceful reach passage, and it feels so fine. I say, you say, ain't that sweet? I say, it's okay, it's love I keep. Laughing children, summer days, there's a guy playing guitar his own way. It is then and it is now that these colors come together, but I don't ask how. I say, you say, ain't that sweet? I say, it's okay, It's love I Pura vida, everybody. Pura vida. I sang that wrong. I feel embarrassed. If anyone's watching from Costa Rica, sorry. And by the way, for yous, Ottawa Valley. Here we are in the Ottawa Valley. The plural of you is yous. Yous people watching, you're welcome to message me your mailing address, and I'd be happy to mail you a CD, or if you could actually request both if you want. One's $20 and one's $10. The EP's 10 and the full album is 20. So I'd be very pleased to mail them out to you, and shipping's free because it's still only $1 or something. And the postal office told me that in early May the postal rates are going up a bunch. So I don't know what that means, but anyways, everything's going up.
Everything's going up.
This next song, this is the song that got me a gig playing this summer in Algonquin Park for Parks Ontario, and I'm really pleased about that. I can't wait to go down to a 1,000 seat amphitheater and play just after Summerfest. And so I wrote on the album. There's 3 songs that were influenced by my time spent in Algonquin Park, and this is one of them. It's called Forward, and I wrote the song about being in a transical state. I don't know if that's a correct word or not. Transical state, trance-like state, and you know, when you're driving along, all of a sudden you realize you've gone through like 6 stoplights, and you're somehow not running anyone over, and somehow managed to deal with all the different traffic situations, and you're just driving with your head zoned out, right? And so I found that on some of the portages we were doing in Algonquin Park, I was tromping along, and I realized I'm looking at the forest, and I'm smelling things and seeing things and hearing the birds, and I realized, no, this is really, you know, even though it's a portage, right? It's a portage. Remember, who likes a portage, right? But actually, if you just sort of look around, and there's great things to see, and so I quite like portages because it gives you a chance to sort of see things, and it gives you a break from sitting in the canoe and all that too. But so there's 3 portages on my favorite trip in the park. That I wrote the song about, you know, just inspiring portages. One of them is a really long one. That's where I convinced myself I gotta stay mellow on this one. Because it's a brute of a portage. But anyways, so what's the point of that? Anyway, you see, you're right in the transical state already. I'm calling into it. This song. On the album, it's one of the songs. When you record, it's interesting how you start off with a bunch of songs and you give them to a producer, and then they start to bring in musicians, and you build them up. And some songs really elevate, and some of them only go up a bit, and hopefully none of them go down. They're not supposed to, but this is one that really climbed a lot in my rank of how much I like it. And I think the hook for me is in the chorus. There's a lap steel guitar that's providing these beautiful, haunting, bending, you know, lap steel notes, and that's what lights this song up. And so I really love this song, the way it's recorded, and I have Brian Hebert to thank for that, because this is one of his songs, you know, and also and Brian also put in some really nice, tasteful harmonica as well, and that really adds to this the whole tone of this. So here we go. This is called Forward. There's a certain kind of trance that comes in circumstance when time just slips away. But forward is the way, with weight and sweat and play, and the thoughts that I would trade for now. Through efforts there is climb, with moments of beauty kind, the sweetness of your mind this day. and the time to slow will come. Deep breaths, cool waters done, then off it goes again, the climb. And while we're reaching and trying, crawling or flying, my mind is residing away. It's forward, we're striding on moments of quiet. You'll have to try it, I say. The beauty of this time, the crooked faded line, the sense of distance fine today. More forward I must go, the steady efforts show, the strain of time will close, I say. Your mind that must awake, those memories to make, those photographs to take on the way. It's those special times that count, those thoughts so profound, they lift you from the ground, I say. And while we're reaching and trying, falling or flying, my mind is residing away. It's forward, we're striding on moments of quiet. You'll have to try, I say. And soon the end will be, throw off the weight, be free, rest your weary feet and smile. And then off we go, forward fast or slow, new thoughts and new hopes for a while. It's a certain kind of trance that comes in circumstance, and time just slips away. Thanks very much. Yeah, this next song is, I'm going to do a couple of my historical songs, which I really love that I've ended up doing that. It's so very fortunate to have stumbled into this thing about learning about Ottawa Valley history and writing songs about it, and then I'm sure all you all know, but I ended up with enough songs to put together a show, a folklore show that I'm doing now, and that's what I'm going to be playing in Algonquin Park this summer. And this song is part of that, and it's about it's called River Drive Dance, and it's about the Des Moines River, and you know, as you probably know, I've been a part of this project to build this hiking trail up the Des Moines River, and Bill and Candace have helped too, and I'm not sure who else here has helped with it, but it's been just wonderful the last 3 or 4 years, building this trail system and putting up campsites, and now we're hiking it and enjoying it. It's fabulous. You got to get out. The history there along the Des Moines River is phenomenal, and part of what we've done in opening up this old 1840s access road or wagon road was we've discovered these old lumber camps and stopping places, and we found tools from the lumber men that were there, and we've seen the evidence of all the river drives, and including the names carved into the stones for the people that perished during the river drives, because they were very dangerous, right? Imagine the flooded rivers and having to usher the logs down, and you couldn't swim, and you had heavy boots on, and everything about it is just nasty. So I wrote this song about the River Drive Dance, and the weird thing about this song was I wrote this song in Costa Rica. This is a strange thing, and I'm walking down the beach, crowded beach, with my guitar in one hand, and so pleased with myself, and then this dog attacks me. And I had no idea. I was just one of hundreds of people walking along with a guitar. And I guess he didn't like the guitar. And the dog's like, little thing, but it was like, if I didn't have the guitar, it would have bitten me in the leg. So I'm like yelling at it. I thought, how's that good karma? You know, I just wrote this great song, and now this dog's attacking me. So I have no idea how this all works in the big picture, but it was a very bizarre situation for that to be part of this songwriting experience. So this part of the song that you're going to hear, that's the chorus part. It's meant to be, think about the River Drive men gingerly jumping on the log, just stepping from log to log, so delicately. On a boulder and stump-laden shore, with their boats pulled in with resting battle oars, was Renfrew camp, 4 buildings, 10 cribs. We were sorting logs as they floated in. The log chute ran long past the drop, 3,000 feet for the very best logs. Sometimes we stood at the log jam bends, with their boots and poles, us River Drive men. When the call came in on the telegraph line about a log jam, it's now our time, it's time to go. Grand Shoe Camp, South we run with River Drive boots and long pike poles, and then some. Flooded shoals and ice cold drink, fast moves on feet, no time to blink. A skill we had still left a chance. Came the legend of the River Drive dance. Dynamite loaded in the log jam pile, 7-minute fuse seemed to take a while. Get ready, men. When the log jam gives, we're back on course. The pointer boats helping, working shore to shore. Keep it moving, men. From the April melt, I ran with my men. From Grand Chute to the foes at the end. Along a wagon road we did run, to chase the logs, long days, wet fun. When the drive was done, it was time to go back home, to the farms we ran with pay for our loans. But some men, well, didn't make it out. Their time had come, there was no way to help. So we nailed their boots to the nearest pine tree, and we counted our blessings. It was plain to see what the river told. But we had to move on, there was no time to waste. We kept the logs moving with cautious haste till the drive was done. 61 was the last river drive. Trucks hauled logs in a fraction of the time. It marked the end of our river driving days. With our boots and poles, we went our separate ways. I stand on shore, imagining back then the dance of those River Drive men. By speaking eyes, those River Drive men. I long to see the River Drive again. I don't think I'd want to be on a river drive. It's like, no, there's a place on, a lot of people here probably know about the Madawaska River, right? That goes through past Griffiths. There's a spot there called Slate Falls, and there's a very dangerous fall there. I guess it's not really a waterfall, but it's called Slate Falls because of the slate that's exposed there. So there are all these big pillars of jagged slate sticking up. And apparently there's one day where there was like over 20 men died one day there dealing with a log jam. But at that spot, there's all kinds of names carved into the rocks from the men that perished on that river during the log drive. So it was a very, very dangerous way to make a living. Better way to make a living was to be on portage is the name for it. So lumber camps had for the lumber camps to work in these remote areas, there had to be a whole network of these wagon roads everywhere, right? And this next song is about the wagon roads and the portage that some of the farmers would do to carry supplies into these camps. And this particular place is that I wrote the song about is a farm down the Brent Road. It's called Halfway House. It's halfway between the Ottawa River and the Petawawa River. And it was it was about 10 miles in, and that's about as far as a horse could pull a fully loaded wagon or sleigh. And so ended up spending a lot of time there. Bob Cleland, if he's watching, he's the one that told me about this years ago, and I went in there, and sure enough, there's all these old fields, and there's a bunch of collapsed buildings, and it's a beautiful place. There's rhubarb growing there still from the old days. I always say that's like pre-GMO. You can be guaranteed there's no genetic modifications to that rhubarb. It's there since the 1800s, and so we planted some. We have some in our yard there. We have pilon rhubarb now and then. It's like super heritage stuff. And anyways, it was run by the guy in the name of Xavier Pilon, and so I wrote this song about this farm and called Halfway There, and I think, Alistair, this is you. I think you're on this song with playing accordion, I believe, right? And this is a song that I guess I've been playing it for a while, but it's nice to get it recorded, and it's in there. It turned out really nice in the recording process, and it also features Kurt Penny from Deep River playing mandolin and Brian Hebert playing fiddle as well. So this is called Halfway There, and it's a story of this depot farm stopping place on one of these wagon roads, and it's in the middle of nowhere. And I wrote the song from the perspective of a lumberjack that's riding in on a sleigh, and they stop at this place for the night and they continue on the next day. And so it's called Halfway There. By rail and by steamer, the time I arrive at the place 2 rivers, the men for the drive. On a horse-drawn sleigh, southward we head through the forest on a tote road as winter sets in. At times I would walk with the sleigh just ahead. 10 miles to the depot and 10 miles to Brent. The stillness of the winter on this winding tote road, I heard of this place that's halfway home. Oh, Mr. Pilon, your farm is so fine, 10 miles from the noisy CPR line. 10 miles yet to go on to the Brent. I wave at your daughters at the time they're well spent. I heard of your daughter, of sickness she died. Her smile still lingers, I still question why. The steel heart that you forged from a horseshoe spear, Xavier Pilon shaped it with care. Oh, Mr. Pilon, your farm is so fine, 10 miles from the noisy CPR line. 10 miles yet to go on to the Brent. I wave at your daughters at the time they're well spent. horses were fed and the hitching repaired. Smoke from the chimneys stained the cold air. Large pots of the harvest steeped by the fire, sometimes with music late in the hour. Oh, Mr. Pilon, your farm is so fine, 10 miles from the noisy CPR line. 10 miles yet to go on through the Brent. I wave at your daughters, at the time they're well spent. This place in the forest now speaks without words. With the fields closing inwards, the sounds now unheard. From the ruins and stone fences and the rhubarb still there, lost are the stories of the place halfway there. Oh, Mr. Pilon, your farm is so fine, 10 miles from the noisy CPR line. 10 miles yet to go on through the Brent. I wave at your daughters, at the time they're well spent. Lost are the stories of the place halfway there. I'm going there on Sunday with a friend, Halfway House, to poke around, and it's such a neat spot. There's so many of them around here too, eh? The lumber camps are just everywhere, right? And so I just have 2 more songs and we'll take a break. These next 2 songs are another example of how kind of diverse the songs in this album are. And again, I'm really pleased with how that turned out. And I told Brian at the very start of this whole project, I said, I want everything to sound different. I don't want any similar sounds. I want this to be every song unique. And I may not be able to, I doubt that I'll end up with a Juno nomination for this, but you never know. You know, but it was really fun to put it together, and I like the way it turned out. It's great. And so I wrote this song. This is kind of an autobiographical song because I have had fun over the years having fun with our 2 kids, Bradley and Caitlin, and they're kind of like grown up now. But one thing I used to do with them all the time is joke about telling tall stories, and they could tell when I'm, not being truthful about things, and they would ask me questions and I'd pretend to be taking a bite of food or something like that, so I couldn't answer, or I'd give a vague answer and that sort of thing. So I wrote this song called "It Must Be True," because that's what the old man said. And it has it's got that kind of funk reggae feel to it, and that's because in this basement, for many years, there's been lots of kind of weird funk fusion jams happening every Thursday night. We used to have Thursday night jams, and Glenn used to come play bass guitar too, right? And so this song was influenced by years of just goofing around, making fun music, and having no boundaries to the type of sounds you can make with your guitar or the rhythms. And we'd switch instruments, and it doesn't matter whether you're good on the piano, just play a couple of notes and it would fit in. And so it was so much fun over the years doing that. And so this song is called "It Must Be True." The old guy told a story of fame and fortune then. Some say he kinda lost it, he went straight at the bend. Counts to add to 0. He smiled and he would fling. The story sounds suspicious, I don't believe a doggone thing. Sometimes it seems like maybe it's all just in his head. Fantastic stories of a time when men were men. Secret missions, foreign countries, no, not again. Well, it must be true, 'cause that's what the old man said. One time down the river, somewhere near the bend, some kind of rescue with the hero status lent. Another special story with no more really said. Implicated meaning with questionable sense. Sometimes it seems like maybe it's all just in his head. Fantastic stories of a time when men were men. Secret missions, foreign countries, no, not again. Well, it must be true, 'cause that's what the old man said. And then there was the mountain in southern Nepal. He climbed the north face in no time at all. Another secret mission with no more really said. Sometimes it seems like maybe it's all just in his head. Fantastic stories of a time when men were men. Secret missions, foreign countries, no, not again. Well, it must be true, 'cause that's what the old man said. Could he be related to Big Joe Mufferall, who paddled engine just one day from Ottawa to Mattawa? Sometimes it seems like maybe it's all just in his head. Fantastic stories of a time when men were men. Secret missions, foreign countries, no, not again. Well, it must be true, 'cause that's what the old man said. It's what he said, right from his head. He got no cred. Thanks very much. Okay, this is the time when could I get someone to plug in the coffee percolator and and there's a kettle right next to the cord too, and hopefully the kitchen won't catch on fire with the. Well, we have a fireman here, so we're all good. I'm going to switch guitars to authenticate this next song, because this next song was written with this other guitar. Excuse me for a second. I bought this is a travel guitar. It's a small Martin guitar. It's a beautiful sounding guitar. And I bought this to be able to take to Costa Rica. And I did that. And it's always made it back. It's always come back. It's always come, sometimes, actually lately it's getting more difficult to bring your guitar with you because the airlines are getting more and more strict about carry-on stuff. So last time I flew, it had to go into the luggage area, and at least I had the strings loosened. But when I got the guitar back, it must have been minus 40. Where they put all of it. When they fly at 25,000 feet or whatever, it's cold. So not good to do the guitar. But anyways, I bought this guitar for Costa Rica and for travel and that sort of thing, camping and that sort of thing, and it's got a really neat feel to it, and it's really nice to play. So I ended up writing this song with this guitar because it's got such a great feel, and so this is called "You on My Mind," and it's kind of like you're gonna hear a bit of Bruno Mars kind of sound to it, and this is again another example of how in this album I've really tried to be broad with the songs, and I put the capo up here on the 7th fret to give the guitar a nice, whoops, ukulele kind of sound to it, and that gives it nice, a nice, you know, different kind of profile or whatever. And at first, Brian said, "No, you should do it in a different key, so you don't have to use the capo." I was like, "No. The capo is the song. I need to have a ukulele sound. It's got to have that in there." So we had to negotiate as we went through this process, because I brought some ideas to him that were probably pushing his boundaries, and he was pushing my boundaries too. So it was kind of a neat arrangement. But and so this song has Brian playing mandolin on it, following me along, and it also has banjo and harmonica and fiddle. So it's kind of a fairly progressive folk song, I guess you could say. And so we're going to do this one song, and then we're going to take a break, and there's sort of treats over there, and there's drinks too, and yeah, and so stretch your legs, and I hope it doesn't feel too hot in here, but oh good, I'm so glad, because I wasn't sure whether we'd ended up in some sort of a situation with 90-degree weather and all that. So here we go. This is called You on My Mind. Standing here right now, waiting for a sign. It came to me, I'd walk that mile. It would seem you're on my mind. I can see you by my side. Just so fine. Sense of summer in half the time. There can be no mistake. Yeah, it seems I have you on my mind. It is here that we will be fine. In the rain, even under strain, thanks to that love in my heart. Years for measure, time abide. You and me, we're just fine. Walking, running, blind, bruises, cuts, and tears, well, they're just fine. Yeah, it seems I have you on my mind. It is here that we will be fine, even in the rain, even under strain. Thanks to that love in my heart. Yeah, it seems I have you on my mind. It is here that we will be fine, even in the rain, even under strain. Thanks to that love in my thanks, to that love in my thanks, to that love in my heart. Thanks very much. And for the folks on the live stream, thanks for tuning in. I think we're gonna terminate the live stream, and then so message me if you would like some CDs mailed to you. And thanks a lot for watching. And I'm sorry that I'm not here to